Good day, everyone. We are students from University Science Malaysia. We have Science Campus, and today we would like to present about teen sexting, critical information for parents, educators, and the general public. Before starting the presentation today, I would like to introduce the group members. There are five of us within this group, and all of us are from biomedical science course. First of all, me myself, Ko Bun Hui, Guan Jingwen, Wu Rongchen, Li Yueqing, and Nur Fatin Nabila binti Soberi. Let me introduce the contents of today's presentation. First of all, the introduction, following by the psychological factors behind the issue. Then the significance, psychological and legal effects. Fourth will be the public issue and risk, following by the legal actions. The last part will be the conclusion. So let us understand about the meaning of teen sexting. For the word teen in Malaysia law, there is no specific statute that defines the term teens as a legal category on its own. Instead, the law uses terms like child or young person under the Children and Young Persons Employment Act 1966 as amended. Child means a person under the age of 15 years old, while the young person means a person who has attained the age of 15 years old but still under the age of 18 years old. Other than that, based on the Child Act 2001 Act 611, a child is defined as a person under 18 years old. Therefore, teen in the context of Malaysian law can be understood to include persons who are between the age range of 13 to 17 years old. But the word sexting can be understood as the combination of two words, sex and texting. It's the action of sharing sexually implicit materials in the form of text messages, images, or videos, mainly via online platforms. It can be identified into two categories, which is primary and secondary sexting. Primary sexting refers to the action of creating and sending the explicit contents to the others. It can be classified as the origin of the supplier of those contents with sexual elements, while the secondary sexting is the action of forwarding, distributing, and sharing of other people's sexually explicit images and videos. People who involve in secondary sexting can be known as the facilitator of violation. In a small conclusion, teen sexting can be defined as persons who are between the age range of 13 to 17 years old are engaged in the creating or sharing of sexually implicit materials. After understanding about what is teen sexting, it's equally important to recognize the warning signs that may indicate such behaviors among the adolescents. Identifying these red flags at the early phase allow parents, educators, and peers to intervene appropriately and provide support before serious consequences occur. First and foremost, one of the most common signs of teen sexting behavior appears in digital communication patterns. Teens may begin using sexually suggestive words, emojis, or coded language such as eggplant and peach, which representing body parts or phrases like sending picture, or you hot me, or even you make me on. This can be subtle hints of sexual messaging. They might also shift to private or encrypted messaging platforms such as Snapchat, Telegram secret chats, or apps with these appearing messages. This is to avoid parental detection. A consistent habit of deleting message histories or clearing browser logs may also indicate attempts to hide online sexual exchanges. Another major red flag is changes in the way a teen shares or produces digital content. A teen might start taking us or sending revealing selfies or post images with suggestive captions that attract attention. They may create hidden social media accounts or use private story features to share explicit content with selected people. This type of behavior often reflects a search for validation or acceptance. However, this type of behavior will expose the teen to serious risks, including cyberbullying and image based abuse. Next, teens involved in sexting may show noticeable emotional or behavioral changes. They might appear secretive, anxious, or easily startled when someone approaches while they are using their phones. Some may be unusual, withdrawn, guilty, or defensive about their online activity. Staying up late at night to chat or browse social media secretly is also a behavioral cue that something may be happening online. These signs often reflect the stress, fear of exposure, or pressure associated with sexting and its potential consequences. Last but not least, sexting among teens is often influenced by peer or social pressure. A teen may be added to adult teen or 18 plus group chats which receive repeated requests for intimate photos or be persuaded to join sexual truth of their challenges. In more serious cases, teens may be faced threats, blackmail, or sextortion, where someone demands more images or money in exchange for not releasing private content. Recognizing these warning signs early is essential to protect teens from emotional harm and online exploitation. Here is some of the examples that show the online platform that are frequently used in teen sexting. For example, Telegram, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and TikTok. These apps make sexting easier. But the question is, where do the influences that drive teens to sex actually comes from? The teens are mainly affected by their parents, environment, and movies. For today's presentation, I will emphasize the effect of the movies on teen sexting behavior due to the huge exposure in online media. Popular TV series such as Euphoria, Outer Banks, Elite, Gossip Girl, and 30 Reasons Why portray teenage characters who are constantly exposed to mature themes, including sexual relationships, intimacy, and identity exploration. This show often glamorize physical attraction, partying, and sexual experiences as part of teenage life. While they address relevant social issues like love, trauma, and self discovery, they also send implicit sexual messages that may influence teens' perceptions of what is normal or accepted in relationships. The frequent portrayal of sexual content without realistic discussion of consent, emotional consequences, or safe practices can normalize risky behavior and shape young viewers' understanding of sexuality through a distorted lens. Therefore, these programs serve as strong examples of how entertainment media can both reflect and influence adolescent sexual behavior. Next, I will pass my part to Fatin for further explanation about psychological factors behind the issue.
So I asked one person what is the reasons for teen sexting. So let's hear from her. So what is the reasons for teen sexting happening?
I think teen sexting happening because of curious.
That's a good answer. So now we know that one of the reasons why teen do the sexting is because curious. How many more the reasons why teen do sexting? Let's dive into our topic. Why teen do sexting? One of the reasons why teen sexting is happening because of peer acceptance and social pressure. This is basically very true because when we grow up as a teenager, we tend to follow our friend, whether it is good or it is bad. Why? Because we try to fit in a group. We try to fit in. We try to not look as weird, lame, or even an outcast. We try so hard to fit in one group because we are FOMO, we are fear of missing out. We do the teen sex thing to look cool, but actually it's harm ourselves as a teenager. The next reasons why teen sexting is happening is because curiosity and sexual exploration. This is tend to happen to young teenagers because they are so curious about something. Because growing up as an Asian, we tend to be more conservative, so not all the things we got to know by our parents, some we need to search. So maybe the teenagers which have the various races difference or various culture difference will search by itself, and they found it on internet, and they try it, they observe it, they hear it, they learn it. That's the way of teenagers learning. Or even they hear from their friends, oh, I do teen sexting. So what is teen sexting actually? So he tried or she tried to go to the Google searching for that, or even try to engage in that activity. The next reasons why teen sexting is happening because of digital communication and smartphone access. This is very true because most of teenagers nowadays have their own smartphone. So they can easily engage in this kind of activities because they can easily go into some websites or some apps and then try to do the sexting. The fourth reasons why teen sexting is happening because of weak parental monitoring or communication. Nowadays, parents are so busy with their own life and their own commitment until they forgot about their child. They forgot to see what their child is doing. They let their child be unwatched. So their child will do whatever they think it is possible to do, and it is good, or even if it's bad, their child will do it because no one is monitoring them. And this is one of the things which will make the lack of communication skills in the child become very, very high. So the child will not have a good communication skill. So they try to go to the internet or some website or some apps to talk to the people so they can hone their skill, and it will risk the chance for teen sexting. The fifth reasons why teen sexting is happening because of desire for intimacy and validation from others. I take a good example. If one person's they always achieve something, but their parents or their someone's from their environment did not validate their achievement or did not validate their feelings, or even just let him be or her be like that, never validate anything, they will turn to internet and search for some validations. In the end, this validation searching can turn into the teen sexting. Lastly, the reasons why teen sexting is reaching a high level of concerning rate is because of the exposure to sexual content. Nowadays, you doesn't have to search in a website, you doesn't have to go to search in like whatever mediums, you doesn't have to try and search harder or any medium you can use. Nowadays, you can easily see soft porn in the TikTok, which all the people can see, even the teenagers itself, even the child can be exposed to this thing, which will then lead them to try this thing, which is teen sexting.
Now let's focus on why teen sexing matters. Severely, it is psychological, legal, and social impacts, and how proper sex education is the core solution. There aren't abstract concepts. They directly affect teens' mental health, legal standing, and future opportunities. Let's start by looking at victims. Impacts on victims, psychological trauma. Victims experience immediately shame and helplessness when their privacy is violated. Long term, this can lead to chronic anxiety, depression, or even PTSD. What's worse, many suffer in silence, scared of social judgment. This only worsens their trauma. Legal risks, even indirect involvement, like posting for photos, puts them at risk. Plus, collecting evidence to defend their rights is a major challenge. Now, let's shift to senders. Impacts on senders. Psychological burden. Students live with constant anxiety, worried about content leaks, punishment, or parental reprimand. Some even have cognitive distortion, seeing sexting as a proof of intimacy, and when they harm others, intense guilt follows. Legal liabilities. Sharing minor pornographic content, even if consensual, is a crime. Certain others, uh, that's extortion, a crime no record here limits careers and personal rights for life. Now, let's explore social consequences. Social consequences. On campus, they face gossip, cyberbullying, and social isolation. Digitally, this creates a digital sting. They can impact college admissions and job interviews for years. Senders, they lose social trust, left irresponsible, and their social circle shrink. Job requires background checks like education or civil service become off limits. Plus, they face heavy moral condemnation from family, school, and society. And now let's move to solutions through proper sex education. Correct sex education guidance, core guidance, boundary definition. Healthy close relationships needs mutual agreement and full privacy. Sexting, sexting violates both. Target action tips. Victims know when someone is forcing you, signal firmly, and keep proof. Senders remember, consent doesn't make it legal. Don't act on impulse, and respect others. Legal awareness. Victims have the right to seek compensation for harm, and sinners never forget the legal risks. Correct sex education implementation past. Closing schools should practice refusal skills and use real cases to show consequences. Families support victims by saying it's not your fault and talk openly with centers about responsibility and legal costs. And also society run campaigns to stop victim blaming and push social platforms to warn senders and support victims easily. And also, purple sex education isn't just information; it's a safeguard, and let's use it to protect teens.
Public issue and risks. The spread of teenage sexual testing usually meaning sending or receiving explicit text messages, pictures, or videos has become a several social problem. It causes many negative effects on teenagers' personally growth, relationships, and social habits. The main risks and public issue are as follows. Main risks to teenagers themselves, physical and mentally health problems. Teenagers are still growing physically and mentally. Spending too much time with pornographic content can twist their ideas about sex, leading to early sexual activity, anxiety about sex, and other issues. It may also make them feel inferior or ashamed and even cause depression or thoughts of hurting themselves. Privacy and safety dangers. Once these messages are sent, Others may share them maliciously or take screenshots to keep. This can lead to private information being leaked, which may then cause school building or online building. These problems can badly damage teenagers' social lives and mental states. Negative impacts on the public. Unhealthy campus environment. The spread of sexual texting can lead to inappropriate interactions between students. It disturbs normal teaching, encourages bad habits, and makes it hard to build a good campus culture and a healthy environment for teenagers to grow up in. Troubled family relationships. If teenagers become addicted to such messengers, they may talk less with their parents and lose their trust. This can cause family fights. Some parents who don't know how to deal with the problem may use extreme ways to educate their children, which makes the gap between parents and children even bigger. Harmful social habits. Too many sexual text messengers make the internet dirty, spread bad values, and break social moral rules. This threatens social peace, stability, and progress. Most importantly, it's bad for teenagers to develop the character values.
So now I would like to talk about legal actions related to teen sexting. So in combating teen sexting, we can think in various perspectives such as family, community, and law enforcement. So for family, parents should be the one who teaches your kids about sex. Parents find shame to discuss this topic, but it was wrong. This is because a child is less capable of long-term thinking and they cannot differentiate what is right or wrong. So parents can give suitable advices to their children. Next, families should provide children and teens with clear boundaries about technology use. Children may access to undesirable content on the internet, so parents should be limiting and filtering their children's access to smartphones and internet. Lastly, parents should build trust within child so that child can share problem with parents rather than keeping it. For example, when a children receive unwanted sexually suggestive image or message, they can comfort child and give solution to them. Next, community also play an important role. Communities should strengthen cyber ethnic education, including online safety education in the school curriculum. Topics such as legal awareness and cybersecurity skills should be involved. And also, commissioners such as MCMC should educate netizens to report or not to spread sex contents in media in order to protect teenagers. Next, the internet should provide rehabilitation instead of prosecution. Teenagers may not understand the long term emotional, social, and legal consequences of their actions. So, instead of treating them as a criminals, it is more effective to offer rehabilitation and educational support. Lastly, communities should promote an open communication to all the netizens. Parents and adults should be encouraged to talk openly and non judgmentally with teenagers about online behavior and relationship. When teens feel safe to discuss sensitive topics, they are more likely to seek help before problems escalate. Lastly is the law enforcement. So many countries do not yet have law, especially for teen sexting, but the laws mostly related to online crimes and child protecting law. For example, in Malaysia, we have Sexual Offences Against Children Act 2017. This is the main law protecting minors, especially those below 18 years old, from sexual exploitation and abuse, including acts done online. And we also have penal code. So for section 292, it prohibits the sale, distribution, or showing the obscene material. And for section 293, it prohibits giving obscene material to persons under the age of 18. And we can also see the examples from other countries. So, for example, the Criminal Code of Canada in Canada, Bill C-13, this law prohibits creating, processing, or distributing child pornography, and it allows flexibility and emphasizing education for minors. And also, we can see federal law from the United States of America. The 18 U.S.C. 2251 prohibits persuading or enticing a minor to engage in sexually explicit conduct for the purpose of creating visual depictions of that conduct. And 18 U.S.C. 2252A, this law prohibits the production, distribution, reception, and possession of child pornography. So, after all, how these legal actions help in teen sexting? Firstly, the action will support victims. This is because some of the law will remove illegal images, punish offenders, and provide justice and help victims regain confidence. Next, the legal action also creates awareness and deterrence. Raise awareness among teenagers about serious consequences of sexting so that they know what to do to protect themselves when they are the victim of teen sexting. Next, it provides a healthy online environment. It encourages positive online behavior among netizens so that children feel safe discussing issues online without fear and punishment. Lastly, this action also builds trust between people. The action encouraging open communication. In this case, teenagers feel safe to share their problems, strengthen bonds between parents and children.
So, in conclusion, teen sexting is a serious issue that involves emotion, technology, and social influence. It shows how curiosity, peer pressure, and media can lead teenagers to make risky choices without fully understanding the consequences. Sexting can cause emotional pain, damage reputations, and bring legal problems that affect both of the teen and their family. Teenagers should learn to value their privacy and understand that sharing intimate content can have lasting effects. They should also learn to say no to peer pressure and to use social media wisely and respectfully. This topic is a reminder to families, schools, and society about guidance and education are the best forms of prevention. Here are some websites and PDF that are used as reference for today's presentation. If you are interested, you can stop the video and click the website link that are provided in the reference. That's all from us. Thank you for your attention. We hope that you can learn something from our presentation today.